Hey, second grade, Miss Carl here. It's great to see you all back. So today we're going to be looking at poems, and we're going to be looking about the point of view. So whenever you have a poem and we're looking at point of view, that's how the author feels about a certain thing or a topic or whatever the poem is about. So when we look at a poem, the author portrays a feeling about what they think about something through their words. So we can get the idea or their point of view on something by looking at their words, using how do they describe things, what pictures do they paint, using that figurative language that we've been talking about, how do they describe? And we can use those words that they put in their poem to help us figure out their point of view and how they feel about that topic or that subject. So let's go ahead and give a little bit of practice with this. So it says, a speaker in a poem has feelings about what happens in the poem. That's kind of what it just said, right? The speaker has feelings. This is the speaker's point of view. So this is how they feel about something that's happening in the poem. Read the poem and answer the questions about the point of view. So we're going to read this poem on the side, and then we're going to answer these different questions about the point of view. So growing up in one day. So I'm going to go ahead and read this poem that's called Growing Up in One Day. I want you to follow along as I read and listen, and then we'll answer the questions. If I could grow up in just one day, how would I work to get my pay? I could be a teacher in a class, helping children to learn and pass. The moving children would be an army of ants walking to class in a happy trance. I could be a chef in a busy kitchen. I've had helpers that would always pitch in. If a diner's stomach was a bottomless pit, my cooks and I would never sit. I could be a firefighter in a truck, putting out fires and helping cats that are stuck. My legs would be machines. I'd climb so fast and bring the cat down safe at last. I won't grow up for quite a while, but I have some ideas that make me smile. So in this poem, we have a child who's thinking about maybe one day what he would want to do when he grows up. And he talks about a couple different professions. So what is the boy's point of view about being a teacher? So the first thing we need to look at is what's his point of view or what's his feelings about being a teacher? So let me reread that section. I could be a teacher in a class, helping children to learn and pass. The moving children would be an army of ants walking to class in a happy trance. So I get the feeling that he would like to be a teacher to help children. He'd want them to be able to learn and get good grades. And why do I get that that's his feelings about this? Is because I look at his words. Helping children to learn and pass. So right here in the poem, it's saying he could be helping the children to learn and pass. So that tells me that's a main reason why he would want to be a teacher. So I think he would like to be a teacher because he wants to be able to help children. Let's look at our different options. So what is the boy's point of view about being a teacher? He would like to be a teacher so he could help children learn and pass. He would like to be a teacher so he could teach about ants. So it does mention ants in here. The moving children would be an army of ants walking to class in a happy trance. But that's a metaphor, and it's not talking about teaching about ants. He would like to be a teacher so he could move a lot. We don't really have too much about moving here. They're talking about the children moving. So the main thing that he talked about and how he feels is that he would help children to learn and pass. So that's his point of view or his feelings about being a teacher.
Great job.
Our next question is, what is the boy's point of view about being a chef? Well, let's reread that part. I could be a chef in a busy kitchen. I'd have helpers that would always pitch in. If a diner's stomach was a bottomless pit, my cooks and I would never sit. All right, so let's look about how does he feel about being a chef? Well, he know he'd be busy, but he'd have people who would always help him. They could all work together to feed people, right? If the diner's stomach was a bottomless pit, my cooks and I would never sit. So he would be busy, but he'd have other people there to help him. So I think he would like it because he'd have others around him. But let's look at our options. He would not like to be a chef because it is too busy. It does mention that I could be a chef in a busy kitchen, but I don't get negative feelings. I just get the feeling that he would like to be busy and having the help of others. I don't think that that's a negative feeling that he has. He just mentioned that it would be busy. He would like to be a chef so that he could work with others to feed people. That could be an option because he mentions I'd have helpers that would always pitch in. So we're talking about helping, working with each other to feed everyone in the diner. He would like to be a chef so that he could eat a lot. Well, in the poem, maybe that's true, but in the poem, did he ever mention about himself eating a lot? No, he mentioned about the customers eating a lot, but he never expressed those feelings. So maybe he does have that feeling, but in the poem, he did not portray that point of view. So what are his feelings about being a chef? He wants to be a chef so he could help work with others to feed people.
Excellent work.
All right, what is the boy's point of view about being a firefighter? So let me go down and reread this part. I could be a firefighter in a truck, putting out fires and helping cats that are stuck. My legs would be machines. I'd climb so fast and bring the cat down safe at last. So how does the boy feel about becoming a firefighter one day? Let's read our options. He would like to be a firefighter so he could work with machines. He would like to be a firefighter so he could put out fires and save cats. He would not like to be a firefighter because he doesn't like to climb. So I'm challenging you now to take a moment and think about this. What are the boys' point of view, or what's the boys' feelings about being a firefighter? I want you to pause me if you need to, reread, take a moment to think about it, and then once you have your answer, I want you to unpause me so we can compare our answers. All right, so you should have chosen he would like to be a firefighter so he could put out fires and save cats. How do we know that's his point of view? How do we know that that's how he feels about becoming a firefighter? Because he says here, I could be a firefighter in a truck putting out fires and helping cats that are stuck. He says that's what he'd be doing if he was a firefighter. Now, he would like to be a firefighter so he could work with machines. It mentions my legs would be machines, so he's using a metaphor here. He's not really actually talking about working with machines. And then he would not like to be a firefighter because he doesn't like to climb. He mentions climbing. I'd climb so fast and bring the cat down. But that doesn't give you the idea that he's scared of climbing. He would mention that he'd be nervous. If he was scared, he wouldn't be climbing so fast. So he would like to be a firefighter so he could put out fires and save cats.
Fantastic.
All right, what is the boy's main point of view in the poem? So he's thinking about all these different careers. And finally, what's his main feeling about all these different careers? So he thinks there are a lot of interesting jobs he might do when he grows up. He thinks there are a lot of interesting jobs, but he doesn't want to do any of them. He thinks there are lots of jobs he could do right now. So I want you to, again, pause me and think about which one do you think is the boy's point of view overall in the poem? What's his feelings overall portrayed in the poem about growing up and getting a job? All right, so you should have solved your answer and you should have unmuted me so we can compare, or unpause me, excuse me, not unmuted. So let's think. He thinks there are lots of interesting jobs he might do when he grows up. That is our answer because, let's look. So he lists the different jobs. All of them he shows positive feelings towards. He's interested in doing all of them. At the end, we see, I won't grow up for quite a while, but I have some ideas that will make me smile. So he likes them. He's interested in them. There's stuff that he would want to do one day. So the second one that says he thinks there are a lot of interesting jobs, but he doesn't want to do, that's not true. If he didn't want to do them, he wouldn't be smiling when he was thinking about them. And then he thinks there are a lot of jobs he could do right now. That's not true because in the poem he says, I won't grow up for quite a while. He knows these are things he's not going to be doing right now. He knows they're farther down the line, but he's still thinking about them.
Great job.
All right, which line from the poem tells the boy's point of view about growing up? So we just went over that whole thing and how he feels about growing up. Which one of these lines from the poem helps us come to that conclusion? Which one is the biggest one that helps us? Is it, I won't grow up for quite a while, but I have some ideas that make me smile. I'd climb so fast and bring the cat down safe at last. Or I'd have helpers that would always pitch in. Which one helps us get the overall point of view about growing up? Not each career, just the overall view about growing up. I want you to go ahead and pause me and pick your answer. All right, so you should have picked I won't grow up for quite a while, but I have some ideas that make me smile. Because the overall boy's point of view is that he has some careers he's interested in. He doesn't really know quite yet what he wants to do, but they're things that he's happy about and excited to eventually do one day. That's his point of view, his feelings about growing up and getting a job. And this one tells us, I'd climb so fast and bring the cat down safe at last. That does not tell us that feeling. I'd have helpers that would always pitch in. Again, that doesn't tell us the feeling or give us that point of view about how he feels about growing up.
Great job.
All right, second grade, that was awesome. So we just talked about in poems how point of view tells us the speaker's feelings about things. And you saw that in order to find the point of view on each different career that he talked about and the overall feeling of growing up, we had to look at the words and what he said in the poem. So you really need to pay attention about the words are said, or their positive feelings, negative feelings. Really use those words, use that figurative language to help you figure out how the author or the speaker is feeling. Awesome job, guys. See you next time.